If you're like me, I tend to have more ideas than actual finished projects and works. Then this video is for you. And I'm not just talking to content creators, I'm just talking to young people in general. I feel like we have this problem of getting the high of a new idea, a new thing to embark on, but then we chicken out, we become inconsistent, and then we never actually finish the projects. That's something I'm very guilty of. Honestly, I feel it is way worse than not starting at all. Because when you don't start something at all, you know that you don't know whether it could or could not have worked out. But when you start something and then you stop midway, you find yourself continuously thinking about the potential that it could have had if you were just consistent, if you just continued doing that thing. But instead, you got distracted by the next shiny adventure. This is something that I have struggled with for practically my entire creative life, called shiny object syndrome. This is when you tend to get distracted easily by the idea of something new. Anytime that you encounter something difficult, when you're trying to reach a goal, you get distracted by something else to fulfill that sense of anxiety or fear of failure. And you keep on trying new things over and over again instead of just sticking to something and going through with it. So I just wanted to make this like a little casual talk about consistency as a creative, when to know to pivot, when to know to continue. Let me tell you a story. Pause. Okay, before we get back into the video, I just want to let you know that it's been 2 months since I last posted, and honestly, I feel really bad about that. I just really miss creating content. I'm experimenting with this new podcast casual talk format on YouTube. So just let me know how you like the video and we'll get back into it. Time for the story. So I would say that my journey as a creative started when I was like 10, 11, and I was very passionate about all things creativity. I used to draw, paint. When did I start learning crochet? I don't remember. But I used to draw, paint, and then I also got into writing. My first ever story idea, I literally got it from watching a gacha series, and then I saw the villain. I was like, imagine if this villain had her own story. Like, we gave her a background, we gave her like family members and everything. So I got that story idea, and then I just ran with it. Okay, I got a notebook and I started writing down different scenes and everything. I was very passionate about the story. Even to today, I still really love that story idea and I would love to produce it in some way. But the thing is that while I was working on that story, I would keep getting new story ideas. So I even bought like a sticky note pack and I put the new ideas on my wardrobe door, and I'll keep getting more ideas and more ideas and more ideas. But I was still like, okay, I'm going to focus on this single idea, I'm going to focus on it. So I spent like the next 2-3 years learning about storytelling, writing. So I know a lot about like narrative principles and all of that. But then I actually had to write it, like write the book, and I just got scared. So I was like, okay, I'm going to abandon the book for now temporarily and then go into writing short stories just so I can develop my writing skill. So when I got my first novel idea, I was also very passionate about the idea. It ended up expanding into a novel. So I was like, okay, it's way too big of a project. Let me start something smaller. So that whole cycle kept on repeating, where I would get an idea, a small idea, it would expand to something bigger, and then I would get overwhelmed and just move to the next big idea. It just had me thinking, like, am I even a writer? Like, am I even a writer, or I'm just a story come up or I'm just somebody who comes up with stories? So I just started to doubt myself, and I ultimately gave up on writing, honestly, because I was busy with school and all. But it was also because I lacked that confidence. But I later pivoted to screenwriting, which I was more consistent with. But again, I also had to pause that to focus on content creation. There's actually way more to the story. I'll give a full update on that one of these days. But the point is that if you fit that kind of description, if that's a habit that you've had for some years, I want you to know that you are not alone. Okay, you are not the only person that is dealing with this. Okay, I'm sure you're missing my face, but unfortunately, the video got corrupted, so I don't have like the remaining clip of me finishing up the video. So we're just going to continue with this voice notes podcast format. In fact, this video was not even supposed to be a YouTube video. It was supposed to just be a TikTok video, but it became so long, so obviously I had to make it a YouTube video. So I'm going to do like a mix of this voiceover and video format. Just let me know in the comments which you prefer. If you just prefer listening to my voice, if you prefer looking at my face, yeah, just let me know, and I'm going to get back to the topic. So while I haven't fully figured out how to deal with this and like fix the problem, I have some ways that I am stopping myself from getting distracted easily by new ideas, and I just hope they work for you because they work for me. So first thing is that I ask myself this question: is this a genuine pivot, or I'm just getting bored or scared? Because, like I mentioned before, one of the main reasons why shiny object syndrome happens is because you are dealing with fear of failure, or you're getting anxious, or you're just bored of the idea. So you want to chase after the next shiny thing to prevent yourself from feeling and sitting in that uncomfortable feeling. So I have to ask myself that, am I making this change because this is a genuine pivot I have to make in order for me to get better results, or I'm just making this change because I'm trying to run away from that fear that I have. For example, when I first started SDL, I wanted it to just be like a product shop. Let me be honest, like that was the main reason why I started Shemis Digital Locker. I just started to sell digital products on productivity, personal development for young people, all of that. But then, as I started to think more about the idea, I realized that it being a digital product store, would not really be serving the audience that I have in the way that I would love to serve them. So I started to think of SDL as more of a community and less of a store. So I stopped creating digital products, and I've started focusing more on trying to build a community of people that are genuinely young and ambitious. So that would be what I would describe as a major pivot. The reason why I made that pivot wasn't because I was scared. I could have just continued doing the digital products thing, and maybe I would have made a few sales here and there. But it was better for me to go that community route, because it's just what aligns more with my mission as a person and my mission as a creator online. So you have to ask yourself, is this a genuine pivot, or I'm just scared? Another thing that I make sure is that what I'm doing or what I'm going after actually matters to me. It matters to my vision, and it matters to what I stand for as a person. Because if I'm only in love with the idea of it, the potential or the result that I may get from it, when I encounter struggles or I encounter difficult days, I'll be so quick to just jump to something else. But when in the beginning I'm able to acknowledge that this thing that I'm going after, or yes, it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to love even those hard days because I know that it is worth it to me. And also, I started talking to people more about my ideas early on, because people who know you can usually tell when you're just chasing a distraction before you can even realize it by yourself. Obviously, you don't have to tell everybody, but it'd be nice to just tell like one or two people that you trust that, okay, oh, I'm chasing this goal, but I'm scared that I'll end up allowing self-doubt to stop me from achieving this goal. Can you keep me accountable? Anytime I come to you saying that I have a new business idea, I have this new idea, tell me that you said that I should tell you not to make any changes and that you should stick to the original plan. Tell people that, okay, I have this problem, or where I always chase after new distractions and other kind of stuff, and that they should keep you accountable, and people who love you will likely be willing to do that for you. You can even use like AI. For example, I use Claude. I told my Claude AI that any new content idea that I bring, anything that I bring, do not answer me. You should just tell me to put a hold on it till after my exams. So when you can just use AI, you can use other systems too, like Google Calendar. When you structure your days and you schedule things, you no longer have to think about what you are going to do that day. Instead, you already know. So that will prevent you from having all these different things distract you. You can use Notion. I also use Notion. Those are just things that I have put in place to curb the shiny object syndrome, whatever. Okay, so what is that one project that I've been avoiding for a while now, that you've been using other tasks and projects to cover up? So be honest and just comment it down below. And as part of this decision to be more consistent with what I set my mind to, I'm going to be bringing back Gap Year Diaries and some other content series that I had before pivoting to focusing on SDL. So I just want to be more consistent on this channel, because I love it. And you guys subscribed even when I was not, and I want to be more intentional about content creation now. So if you're not already subscribed, thank you for watching to this point, and join me on this journey of finishing what we start so that you can see what happens when we actually don't give up on our goals. So become my internet friend today by subscribing and also checking out my other social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Substack. Yeah, Substack. Also, all of them notes from Shemi. And I'll see you in another video. Bye.